Thanks so much for being here, and it's so energizing to see so many developers here. We don't have so many dev cons, which are neutral dev cons, which is not sponsored by corporates. So it's really nice to see, and thanks to GIDS that we are all congregated here to understand a lot of coding practices, a lot of new things that we want to do. Now when I say new things, Internet of Things comes in everybody's mind, and because that's the hype cycle, people say it's at the hype cycle. Some say whether it's a reality, whether it's a hype, where is it? So I have a burden of, or an onus of, showing and connecting a device in 5 minutes today. That's what your agenda says. And like what Dino said, it worked in my office. I don't know whether it will work here. So hopefully I'll be able to connect the device in 5 minutes with all the network problems. My dongle doesn't work, my mobile tethering is not working. There has been a Wi-Fi password given to me, but it's like breaking in between. So let's see if we are able to connect in 5 minutes. I'll cover a few slides to show what Internet of Things is all about and what are we doing there. So Internet of Things Cloud is what we have envisaged as a vision is that it should be able to do certain activities right from the devices end to the applications. When I say devices, it should be able to connect to the heterogeneous devices which are present there. It should be able to collect events from there. And once you have done device registration, collection of events, and believe me, it's not easy because there are multiple protocols, there are multiple kinds of devices, chipsets, and you have to have the capability of normalizing all these things so that you are able to collect events from devices which are widespread. And also the devices are different kinds. People talk about industrial SCADA based devices, and there are also our favorite Arduinos which we want to connect to. So one is connecting the devices and collecting the data from them, and then to be able to understand that what do I do with these events? I would be getting maybe millions of events from every few seconds from sensors telling about temperature, humidity, or my car location, or the vibration of a machine on a shop floor. There could be several kinds of events, but what do? Are we able to understand the context of those events? Are we able to make use of those events? So that is where the entire data services and integration services come in. You might want to send those events to mobile, to cloud, to the enterprise, to various other enterprise applications. So there are several services that you need in the cloud for you to be able to plumb and put all this together. And once you have done it, the customers today are asking, can I measure business outcomes on devices? And that's where the money in IoT is, because a lot of people say, oh, IoT is cool, but is there money in that? But then there are clients who are asking that, for example, I'll take an example. There is a medical infusion pump. Now the medical infusion pump has to give medicine and dispense medicine at a certain rate for patients. Now the hospital wants to pay the person who has provided that appliance, this medical infusion pump, based on the number of patients it serves, which means the medical infusion pump should be able to measure, monitor every time medicine is dispensed, which means it has to be instrumented, which means it should be sending data back to the cloud, which means it has to be monitored, measured, and you have a process of charging the customer based on the number of times the medicine has been dispensed. So there is a lot of instrumentation to be done at the device level for you to be able to give this kind of benefit to your client. So the metering, the billing, everything has to be in place so that you can monitor not just one pump but maybe 1,000 pumps across the hospital. So there are various kinds of use cases we see in IoT, and to be able to provide the analytics, we have to have the cloud up and going. So in our cloud, we have the APIs which are available for developers, for customers, for partners to develop their own applications. So IoT is a composable business. We actually call it, it's Lego blocks that you bring in your services, and it's a platform as a service which is available. And IoT is not owned by a single organization, and that's the beauty of IoT, that it's a very ecosystem dependent. We don't manufacture devices, so we have to partner with a lot of device vendors. Even in applications, we cannot make all the applications, so we work a lot with partners and verticals to ensure that their applications are brought onto our platform service. So from IBM we have Bluemix, which is our platform as a service, and it's the platform for us, and you'll hear a lot about it. There are sessions in the afternoon, and Nishant, my colleague, I think he should be somewhere here, is going to talk in detail about Bluemix, which is platform as a service. And in that we have an IoT zone. So IoT, so what we have from a strategy point of view, we have an IoT zone in our whole Bluemix platform. So let me take you to this zone. Why wait for anything else? So if you see, this is the link, and you can rapidly compose applications and take advantage of data and analytics from your connected device and sensors. And what I'm going to do today is show you and connect a device for you using this platform. So what is there is some demo code available, so you guys can pick it up, and it's available on GitHub. Download it and start seeing that how do you connect device. Some of you might not have devices with you, so we also have an option of simulated device. So you can have your own device or your simulated device and start getting events. So this is a simple thing where what we do is you can choose the code that you want to write in. Here we have used a Python code. It picks up an IoT foundation service whose job is to connect to the device and get events. It does it over MQTT protocol, which is an open source protocol, and it gets the events. The Python runtime also talks to the Cloudant service, which is a database where all the JSON messages are stored, which can be used for further work which you want to do. Your data model is what you can create there, and you can get the data from devices over MQTT, over WebSockets, over HTML, HTTPS, and your various events can be aggregated and collected by the IoT Foundation service. So have a look at this demo code later on when you want to play with it. Okay, so my favorite use case. So this is a use case for which we have done for Silverhook, which is a powerboat organization. They create powerboats, and it can be applied to any vehicle, any car, or any moving vehicle kind of a scenario. So what happens here is that these powerboats have a telemetry system within them. They want to measure the speed, the vibration on the boat, and they want to measure and they want to send alerts if the boat is speeding in the seas too high. Then you might want to give alerts on the mobile to the backend team so that they can convey that you better speed down. So various officials have to be intimated, and you also have to measure fan speed, at what fan speed it is running, or you want to analyze and decipher whether a combination of speed and fan is something which is a danger zone out in the seas or not. So there is a application which we made on Bluemix, which is a telemetry analysis app. It's made on Java, sits on Liberty. What it does is it takes the IoT Foundation service, collects events from all the sensors which are in the boats. So all the sensors, which could be a fan motion sensor, it could be the speed sensor, it could be the GPS location, which as to where the boat is in the waters, that can be done, and it keeps sending the data, and it uses the analytics service available on Bluemix to get all the events and see and tell the driver or tell the officials whether the boat is in the danger zone or it is a chance of breaking down. The entire alerts, the entire system has been made in such a manner that it is composable, uses several different Bluemix services, and can be done in any other language, not necessarily Java. You can write the same code maybe in Python and run it on Bluemix. So this is an interesting use case. And I'll take you to because I'm getting signal that the time is less and I have to show a demo. So I'll take you to our Bluemix Iot Zone, and I'll show you that what is the concept and how do we go about connecting devices. Okay, so here I am at the Bluemix Iot Zone, and if you see, it's Internet of Things on Bluemix, and we have some business solutions like the Silverhook power boards and Sujeti High Tech, which has been created. The way it fits together is, and let me explain it. So this is a device. If we see, this is a device, and I have a similar device here, which is an ARM embed device. It's an ARM device, and it's a microcontroller, and it actually never understood what events it has to send and how to connect to the IBM IoT cloud, and I'll take you through a few steps to show that how it gets connected. The device can be a sensor, it could be a gateway or anything else, and if you want to connect it, so what is the first step you do? The first step you do is so it's like cooking a dish, right? When you cook a dish, what do? You look at a recipe, you look at all the ingredients, you collect all the ingredients, and then you start cooking, right? So let's collect all the ingredients. What we have are recipes. So these are recipes to connect to several kinds of device. If you see, there is Intel Galileo, there is Energia, there is SimpleLink, we have National Instruments, we have sensor tags, again from TI, ARM embed, then we have Raspberry Pis, BeagleBones with sensor tags, we have the Intel IoT gateway. So there are several kinds of devices for which we have created recipes. So when I say recipes, that means, and let me take you to a recipe. So here are the ingredients. The ingredient is the microcontroller, the board itself. It has temperature sensor on it. It has an accelerometer which tells, like if I tilt it, it has an XYZ axis which says what is the vibration which it is undergoing. It has a potentiometer and a joystick. These are already mounted on this. So all I have to do is understand and know what these are. And so I'm preparing myself for the recipe. So I get the device ready, and by the way, these recipes are all available on DeveloperWorks. So go ahead and see them at home or at your work when you want to do it later on. And so if you see, there are these 5 steps, which is called the quick start step, by which you can connect your device. Now what we have done is, okay, let me first show you the code. So and because I know you guys love code, so this is an embed in, and I'm using Node-RED, and some of you would be very familiar. It's an open source used to visualize Internet of Things objects. It has got a huge set of palette available for you to choose what protocol you want to use in, and then connect it to and create IoT applications. So if you see, this is running, and as I'm changing the XYZ axis here are changing. You might want to see here that if I make it straight, the X axis will become a little Y, because it's become 1 now, right? So if you can see, the X axis has become 1 because I'm changing the device, and I'm changing. I can blow into it, and there would be temperature change also, which we might see, or I can keep it near my laptop, and maybe with the heat of the CPU, the temperature should go up. It's gone up marginally from 27.75 to 28. It's already gone to 28. So, so that's how the device measures, and we do the sensors. But then how does this device understand? How does it understand? And which is going back to the recipes. So in the recipes, what we do is, from the Eclipse PAHO library, which is again open source, we download and we download those libraries which can talk to this device's language, which is C in this manner, and we write the MQTT code which goes onto this device and makes it compatible and start sending messages to us. So that's how I connect a device, make it compatible to IoT Cloud, and I start getting the devices. I start getting the events. Now if you don't have a device, then we have a simulated device. So I can change the temperature here to 15 and I can get the readings, and you know, it's a simulated device. I'll again go back and bring down the temperature, and it'll come down. So all these visualizations are already there. This is a quick start mode. If you see on the left hand side, there's a device ID. I'm sorry you're not able to see that, but the MAC ID of this device is the device ID defined. This has been done in a quick start just to help people and do demos, but in actual practice you have to register a device, get the device ID, register it against an organization, and get an auth token and an API key which you can use and pass it on in your APIs to connect and create multiple applications. So this, I would also show a little bit of more complex flow. Like, you know, it was a very simple flow where what I was doing is just connecting the embed device and getting events. But in Node-RED, what you can do is you can send the data to an HDFS node. And based on that, the HDFS service will have the whole stream of data available which you can start working on. For example, it could be GPS location of several buses which are moving around, and you want all the raw data in the HDFS service, and then you want to analyze it and use it in some of your own tools. You can go ahead and do that. You can parse the messages. You can parse the messages, and you can say that, you know, if the payload is this should be the payload, and I give me the output, and if the threshold is above within the safe limits, and you know, if it's above 25 degrees centigrade temperature, then do this, and if it's below 25, then maybe send a message to someone. So that's how you connect and you can create this flow as complex as possible. You can send it to any database. It could be MongoDB, it could be Cloudant, it could be DashDB, it could be any DB which is available on Bluemix. So this is the method of connecting devices, where you can start connecting the devices, have a look at all the recipes, and by the way, these are devices recipes which I showed to you, but there are several application recipes that we have already made and put it up, and we want a lot of developers to start coming and start coding recipes for devices which your customers are talking about. So there are APIs available, and all that you have to do is just contribute and connect your devices and bring your devices and write a recipe. Reach out to us and ask us how to write recipes in case you get stuck, and we'll help you write all and bring up all kinds of devices up. And apart from that, you can create multiple applications. Like we have applications for connected cars. What you can do is you can onboard car data. You can do machine condition monitoring, which is actually predict the behavior of a machine which is going to fail because of the kind of events that you are capturing for it. So there are application recipes also coming up. Feel free, go to Bluemix and start IoT enabling yourself. Okay, so time is out. I get the message. Thank you so much. Maybe one last question if someone has, or otherwise I'm available out here at the IBM booth, or otherwise feel free to catch me up during tea time and during lunch. Thank you.